and welcome to a special episode of Predictocast, the podcast where we predict a movie storyline after watching only the first 10 minutes. I'm Josh, and with me, as always, is Skinner. Hey, Skinner.
Hey, Josh. Hey, everybody.
So, we're obviously in some weird times right now where going to the movie theater is not really the best thing you could be doing. Most places are closed. There are some theaters here and there across the country that are open. Obviously, if you live outside of the U.S., where your country has handled the situation a little better, maybe you do have access to go to the movie theater. I just saw Tom Cruise go see Tenet in London, and he seemed to love it. So if you live in another country, you're doing better than we are in the U.S., but because movie theaters are not the best place to go, a lot of stuff is getting released direct to streaming. So we thought, because we are a prediction podcast, we might try to dip in every now and then and check out the trailers for some upcoming movies that are going straight to streaming and try to make some predictions based on the trailer. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about the full movie after we've had a chance to watch it.
A little peek into the past here. Around early February, I think you and I were getting ready for this season of the show. We were thinking, hey, the numbers were lagging a little bit. It's tough to keep a show going when you're nobody and nobody likes you. And I'd come up with an idea like, okay, we do a lot of shows on movies that no one's ever fucking heard of, nor will they. And I make the joke always in the podcast, why don't we just do Phantom Menace? Because so many podcasts were fucking launched on Phantom Menace, right? and yet people can't get fucking enough of it, right? They're always excited, like, oh, they're finally gonna take down those prequels. I'm like, fucking what? We do what we do for fun. We enjoy picking these great movies. People who do follow us, I think, appreciate the variety of what we do. But you have to get ears on your show or no one's ever going to listen. You only can get so many daily show writers on your show to get people to listen. So we had the idea that we would start for major tentpole releases. We were thinking Wonder Woman 84, Bill and Ted's, and other stuff. We were going to, do an episode in the trailer and then go see it and release it pretty soon, a day or two after it came out, which is a big sacrifice on my part because sitting still in a theater is not my thing, but it's for the show. And then almost immediately the whole world shut down.
Yes.
And dashed us to the ground pretty hard. And a few things have come out, and we obviously did, my daughter and I did Scoob. It's kind of a version of this, but it's Scoob, so who could give a fuck? But this is going to be like our first non-kid movie, kind of like cultural zeitgeist movie that's coming out. So this is going to be our excellent adventure into trying to do a little bit of what we do, but with movies someone actually cares about. And maybe that will grab some SEO on Twitter or something. But yeah, we're going to try our best. We're not doing this too jaded. We are excited to do this. We are doing our generally what we do. But it's a business.
Exactly.
In that we don't get paid that much.
That is true. But as you pointed out, and as you sort of let out the bag a little bit, we're gonna talk about Bill and Ted Face the Music. So that if you're listening to this on the Friday that it drops, I believe that Bill and Ted Face the Music is available to rent right now on various streaming services. And so we're gonna take a look at the trailer, and we're gonna come back with some thoughts, and then early next week on Monday we're gonna drop our full episode on the film. So we're gonna check out the trailer right now, and we'll be right back.
When your wives suggested couples therapy, do you think that this is what they had in mind?
Definitely. I mean, we're a couple of couples, right?
Bill, Ted, enough of the delusions. You didn't time travel, and you didn't go to heaven and hell. Here's a real idea for you. Be role models to your daughters. Get real jobs.
Bill, we've spent our whole life trying to unite the world, and I'm tired, dude.
Ted, we have a destiny to fulfill.
Whoa! Greetings, my excellent friends. We have a problem.
A song created by Preston Logan, performed tonight, will save reality as we know it.
Dude, we better write that song now. Or why can't we just go to the future when we have written it?
And take it from ourselves.
Except, won't that be stealing?
Cheers! How is that stealing if we're stealing it from ourselves, dude?
Dude, our dads are totally in trouble. We should help them out.
No way!
How's it going, Bill and Ted?
We're putting together a most extraordinary band.
Hey, you want to be in our band?
this is ja fantastisch. We're gonna go talk to Death. Is he playing hopscotch by himself? Dude, he's cheating. Hey, Death.
Life, it isn't a wild stallions.
Let's rock!
Be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.
Dina! Billy! Dad! How you doing?
Well, you know, we're dead and we're in hell.
But how you doing?
We're good.
All right, and we're back. We just finished watching the trailer for Bill and Ted Face the Music. We watched official trailer number 2 that was released.
Number 2.
That was released back in July by Orion Pictures. It's the last full trailer that they put out that I have seen. So yeah, it looks like we're getting a lot of the hallmarks that we would expect from a Bill and Ted threequel. I mean, fuck, this thing has been in development for a long time. I'm amazed that it's actually coming out.
And I know what you're all thinking. Where the fuck is Station?
Oh, I bet we're getting a Station because it looks
I
like
mean, you have to. Like, I mean, they show everyone else.
Yes.
So, like, you have to leave somebody. It's either him or Napoleon, honest to God.
Oh, that'll be interesting. So, like, it looks like they're taking the best of both movies because I really admired what they did with the second movie with Bogus Journey because they tried something very different from the first movie. The first movie was these two stoner kids who want to be musicians but are going to fail high school, get a time machine, go back in time, bring historical figures to the present and basically make them do their project for them. And the second one is they get killed by robot versions of themselves and they go to hell. So it's pretty different, and it looks like they're taking both of those elements and combining them into one thing because we've got
subtracting hopefully certain words used.
Yeah, let's hope because both the first two movies came out in the early 90s and late 80s early 90s and there were some slurs that were thrown around that I kind of wish weren't.
I think our two leads here, in Winters are good enough guys where they've learned to, like, even if the studio or a writer put those words on paper, they'd be like, no, we're not going to say that.
Yeah, I think that both of these, both Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves are pretty, I think they're pretty thoughtful guys, and they wouldn't do that stuff again. I think they've probably matured quite a bit in the 20 or so years.
And that's where I have high hopes for this movie as far as like not being like maybe like a great movie or a hilarious movie. Because a lot of it seems very like just like a warm blanket of like, did you like these two movies? I'm hoping that everything they don't show is the stuff that really will kind of surprise you. But I really feel like Keanu and Alex have been really kind of pushing this project as like, hey, here's this fun thing that'll make you feel good to watch. Like we wanted to bring this out earlier. We've been wanting to make this for years. We're finally just going to do it. And now with COVID, we're going to bring it out even earlier than we plan to because we just think everyone needs a really positive movie, and that is probably true. I mean, I'm not sure if Tom Cruise will love it as much as he loves Tenet, but I hope it's a very fun movie that it doesn't like the easiest way to really make it to really what I hope in this movie is like if it is kind of the best of both and we're following a couple of different characters is that it is continuously moving. Like it has a very good pace.
Yeah, it does seem like it because so to set it up, basically, they are still kind of lovable losers. At the end, I'm interested to see how they deal with the continuity aspect because at the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, it seems like they have written the song, but it's not actually the song they wrote because it's a Kiss song that they're singing. So who knows if that's actually supposed to be the song or if it's just a song. But supposedly they were supposed to write a song that would unite mankind and bring everyone together and basically save the planet. And they have yet to do that. And they're both in their late 40s, early 50s, and they're still kind of slacking. And there seems to be some issues in their relationships with their wives, and perhaps their relationship with their kids. Although it seems like they have a pretty good relationship with their kids.
It's funny the way you say that. It feels like it's Bill and Ted's kids that they had together. But yeah,
Yes.
like they have kind of doppelganger. What's the internet rule for if any character is in existence has a gender swap version of them?
Oh, I was going to say Rule 34, but that's not what you're talking about.
Come on. But yeah, they just have gender swap versions of themselves as kids. So one's blonde, one has dark hair.
Yes.
But yeah, we see the Grim Reaper.
It's 63.
It's 63?
Yeah.
It's not 69.
No. It is not nice.
But we see the Grim Reaper, which, everyone's favorite character, the Grim Reaper. He had a great rap.
I'm so excited for William Sadler to be back as Death. Like, he's so good in that second movie. And the fact that even he is excited about coming back. Like, he was tweeting about it when it was happening and, like, when they were in production. And, like, when it was released that he was going to be involved, he was like, I'm so excited to get back to that role. And it's like, that's so wonderful when you have, like, people who seem genuinely happy to be involved in a project after so much time has passed.
I remember just loving I loved the first movie as a kid. I really liked Bogus Journey. I know that Bogus Journey has kind of had a weird trip as far as like going from like when it came out for whatever reason, as it does, it was kind of dismissed by critics as like, hey, it's just more of the same, which it wasn't. But if you are going in and you don't care about this particular genre, you just see kids saying dude and just turn off your brain, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But then it became like, oh, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is one of the few sequels that are better than the first movie. It was kind of always brought up that way. Then I felt there was a kind of a swing back the other way of like, you know what? If you go back and watch it again, it's not as good as you remember it being. But I like that it would be so easy because Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is the more remembered one to just kind of not do the Bogus Journey stuff.
Yeah.
But clearly with Hell and Death back, like it is very much. And like we have the characters fucking his dad tells him like everything that you say happened in 2 didn't happen to you.
Yeah, you'd never traveled through time, you never went to hell. You didn't do any of these things. And I'm interested to see like ultimately what it is because so the plot is they get picked up by someone
Mork's from Mork and Ork's egg.
That is exactly what I was going to say. That it looks exactly like that. But it's Kristen Schaal, who I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't know if this is true. I'm going to guess that she's maybe Rufus's daughter because we don't have George Carlin, clearly.
Clearly. I mean, they could have hired a de-aged Ringo Starr with a ponytail.
Oh, my God. I mean, it is sad that George Carlin is not alive still to be involved in it because I imagine he probably would have come back for it.
Yes, and he'd be here to tell every asshole who thinks he would be on the side of the of the right wing that they're absolutely wrong. He would not be calling everybody snowflakes.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we will get some sort of we'll get some sort of Rufus statue in the future. Like there will be a statue to him in the future.
I would hope so. Or like maybe they. It's weird because I suppose if he's dead in the future, if they visit both hell and heaven in this movie, he doesn't have to be there.
No, he's not. Like he would have died
dead.
Too far in the future in order, but they could have gone. Let's not get too difficult with the time travel.
Let's just talk about Station. My favorite thing I ever made in the internet as far as content was a meme with a picture of Station, and the top text was Station and the bottom text was also Station. No one found this funny.
But they get brought to the future, and they are told essentially that based on the historical records that the future people have, that they are supposed to write and perform this amazing song that will basically cure all of the world's ails on that very night. So now they have the pressure put on them of, oh shit, now we have to create this song and we don't know what we're going to do. So they come up with the idea to go into the future and steal the song from themselves, because they have already written it at some point in the future, and stealing from themselves is not wrong.
Which is kind of in line with what they've done in the other movies with some of their more clever, like, remind myself when we're done this movie to go set up all these traps.
Yes.
Which is, when you think about it, like, is way more clever than the movie ever got credit for at the time. But
yes, because the traps are there, which means that they did go and do it.
They did take the time after the movie was done to set up all these traps so the movie would happen.
You know, if this movie were made today, there would be an end-credit sequence of them setting up everything.
It's so wonderful that it doesn't. That they say it out loud and it works. Like, and they move on.
Ooh, I'm going to make a prediction. What if we see them set up those traps in this movie?
That'd be interesting.
I would love that. I would love if it starts to circle back around and they do things from the first movie that they were trying to remind themselves to do. They end up back at that time, and maybe they see themselves going through the motions in the first movie.
Oh, so Back to the Future Part 2?
Yes, very much like that. And then they remember they have to do that because they forgot to do it before.
My prediction is that the daughters will pull exactly the same trick.
Oh yes,
because they are also time traveling, and also they apparently die and go to hell.
Yes, so that is a good point. They seem to be having some trouble with their wives, but they seem to have good relationships with their kids, and their kids seem to want to try to help them. So it looks like their kids are traveling through time to try to create a band that will help them perform this song that is going to save the planet. But also they do end up apparently dying and going to hell at some point.
Which, they have to end up. Everyone has to end up in hell to see death, right? So,
I have an idea. So, what if they end up in hell because they don't actually get the song done in time, and everyone dies,
and everyone goes to hell?
Yes,
that'd be interesting.
But then they have to go back in time to try to write the song so that no one. So that but what if the world blows up in the middle of this movie and everybody goes to hell, and they're like, "Oh shit, we have to fix that."
Well, here's the thing. I assume in a Bill and Ted movie that they are going to fix everything.
Well, yes, of course. I think we can rightly assume that there probably will be some sort of happy ending.
Do you think there's a sequel with the daughters?
See, so I think that was a fear of a lot of folks online when it got announced, especially when it was announced that they had kids. And I think people were concerned, like, oh, is this going to be a passing the torch movie where Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are barely in it, and they're there to sort of set things up and then send their daughters off on their own adventure. But it seems like it's fairly well integrated, where all of the characters are given something to do. So they could be trying to set it up for a future potential franchise with the daughters, which would be interesting. But it does seem like at least they're still honoring the original stuff, as well as having this new blood involved.
I mean, I know everyone's afraid of Mutt from Indiana Jones. Like, that was probably the most kind of blunt instrument version of that in history.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, because there is no movie with him starring, right?
Yes.
So don't worry. If it sucks, it won't happen. You may like them. No one's seen this movie yet. They might be fantastic characters. You may like them more than Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves.
I mean, Samara Weaving, who plays one of the daughters, I don't know exactly which one, is a great actor. So, like, I imagine that she will do. I'm not familiar with the other actor playing the other daughter, but she's good. So I know that at least she'll be able to deliver if called upon. So I have high hopes. I didn't immediately, bristle at like, oh, they have kids. And like, yeah, of course they would, because they're dudes in their fucking 40s and 50s who are married. That is what happens. You sometimes have children.
Yeah, and they're adult children, basically.
Yeah.
Like, Samara Weaving is in her late 20s.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be in the movie.
They'll probably be teens. They'll probably be in the same, like, high school era kind of thing, like, I imagine. Or maybe they'll be just starting college or something like that.
Yeah, but, like, you can't assume, like, nothing in the trailer makes you say, like, hey, everyone, check out these younger characters. Aren't they cool? Which is what goddamn Indiana Jones was, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of the trailer is Bill and Ted, so...
most of the real star of this trailer, to wrap it up, is Keanu Reeves' button-up shirt. It is. If you told me there was going to be a third Bill and Ted movie, regardless of what age Bill and Ted are going to be, that is the last shirt I would have expected him to be wearing for pretty much what seems to be the whole movie.
Yeah, it takes place all in one day, so...
He's just wearing that pink button-up shirt.
It's also weird seeing him clean shaven, since he's sort of transitioned into like the grizzled bearded phase of his career, and to see him shaved, it's like, oh, this is alarming.
Yeah, like, I don't think I've seen him shaved with his hair down like that specifically since the 90s.
Yeah,
it feels like a while.
It's been a while.
It is a very, like, he clearly is supposed to look like you. If you were in this world, you would say, look at that loser. And he's going all in on it, which is great. And that shirt is just so, but like, Steven Seagal's looking at that shirt and like, man, just undo one of those buttons.
All right, so
tuck that shit in.
All right, so let's get this wrapped up to a point where we can take a breather here. We can watch the movie, and then we can come back early next week with all of our thoughts on the film.
Oh, please, everyone! I know so much happens every day. For reference, today everything happened. And that doesn't even narrow it down for you what day it is. Just trust me. Today is the day everything is fucking happening. Please still care about this movie when we release it on a Monday after the Friday comes out. I swear to God, please don't be all the way past it by the time we release it, because we have to record it and we have to edit it.
Yeah. So let's do a rundown really quick of some rapid fire predictions. Rapid fire. I think the world's going to blow up and everybody's going to go to hell.
I think we'll see God, and it will be Alanis Morissette.
Okay, that's some crossover with the Kevin Smith View Askew universe.
Yeah, it's just one View Askew universe combination for no particular reason.
I think that I want to do the idea that I had, which was that they I want them to set up the traps from the first movie in this one.
Do you think the robots come back?
Ooh, evil robots. Maybe. I think there's got to be. Maybe there is an evil robot.
I mean, we have kind of muscular Bill and Ted to kind of take that spot.
Oh, that's one thing we didn't talk about. They seem to be jumping through different realities or something, because it looks like they encounter a couple different versions of themselves.
Which is fun, because they're doing that, because it appears their daughters are doing the first movie and they're doing a different movie, which is a very fun combo, because we get that nostalgia for the someone going back in time and recruiting people out of time, which is funny. It is fun to watch as long as it's not full of stereotypes. And they're also, and then Bill and Ted are also going through this whole thing where they're trying to find the version of themselves who have written the great song, and maybe that they kill themselves once again.
Oh, that would be interesting. They accidentally kill themselves.
Accidentally. They're accidentally in love. Do you think once again their wives / girlfriends / the princesses just have absolutely no role in the movie?
I'm hoping for something better this time around, but it definitely seems like their daughters are maybe going to be taking on a little bit more of a role. Like I'm going to trust that the writers, even because these are the original writers, Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, are hopefully they have matured and I'm sure that they have, but that they are not going to just completely sideline the wife characters. I mean, I hope that's not the case, because the way that they found them in the first movie, like there's some interesting things to be mined from their experience coming to the real world, and then that kind of got lost in the second one because there was only so much they could do in it. But I will say one thing that I'm expecting is that this movie is going to be a tight 90 minutes, and it is.
Oh, please, yes,
because I admire them getting it done
because
in a quick amount of time.
Because if you're making a movie that is also banking so much on nostalgia like this is, it is so easy to just fill it with every reference in the world, and then that requires you to the plot to be on the other sides of those, and then you end up with a 3-hour movie.
Yeah. So this is it looks like Bill and Ted's if Bill and Ted Face the Music comes in around an hour 28 minutes. By comparison, Excellent Adventure was an hour 30, and Bogus Journey was an hour 33. So they are bringing it in right in line with the other films. And I will say that I rewatched Excellent Adventure a couple of years ago, and it is remarkably quick with how it gets to the plot of the movie. Like, time travel's introduced. I think they are traveling through time at like the 11-minute mark, which is incredible for a film to do, because you think about the way that movies are made today, and it feels like it would take them 45 minutes before they fucking stepped in the phone booth for the first time.
Well, it's like when they fucking remade like the Bionic Woman and stuff and everything on these, like, that's not even modern anymore, but by like in the late mid 2000s, started bringing back old properties, and like a lot of the things in the older stuff is like, why can this do this? Because it can. And like Bionic Woman took like 6 episodes for her to become bionic. It's like, just, I get it. You want to fill it with, you take this, you had this property and you're like, oh, I want to fill in all the backstory, this rich backstory that I dreamed of. It's like, sometimes when you're making a concept film or a concept film for a comedy or concept film for an action movie, you just have to at some point say, okay, here's the concept. It exists because it does. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
The car in Knight Rider can talk. We're good. Why can it talk? Because it can fucking talk. It's a cool car. That's why it can talk.
That's
why it has a cock. It's a car that fucks.
I'm gonna make
it night rides.
I'm gonna make one more prediction here. I think that we will get them to the future with like the future people telling them what they need to do. I think I'm gonna say by like the 12-minute mark. Like I think so this movie's gonna move.
One last question: is this the movie where finally Bill and Ted drive a DeLorean?
Oh. Fingers crossed. That's all I'll say.
All right.
But that's going to do it for our little mini prediction episode for Bill and Ted Face the Music. If you want to know our thoughts. Join us again on Monday when we'll drop the full episode where we talk about the entire film. It's out on streaming now, so you can rent it. It's probably available in numerous places. Find where to watch it. Support it. We have no financial stake in it. It's not going to help us one way or the other, but we're excited about it. So watch along with us and then come back on Monday and hear what we have to think.
Please come back on Monday. We're doing this for you guys. We're doing this for the clicks.
That's right. We are doing it for the clicks, all for the clicks. But until Monday, when we are back with our thoughts on Bill and Ted Face the Music, I've been Josh.
I've been Skinner.
And we predict you'll join us in the future.
When we face the music. The music or the movie? When we face the movie. That's a better tagline. Edit that out so it sounds real tight, like I'm really clever with it.
In hell.
You ruined it now.
Station.
It's back again, baby.
If you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review us over at Apple Podcasts. We're on Twitter and Instagram at predictocast, and you can find our entire back catalog at predictocast.com. Our theme music is by Kyle Sledge. Find more of his work at soundcloud.com/geistmusic. To get monthly bonus content, sign up at patreon.com/predictocast. As always, thanks for listening.